Alrighty, guys, welcome to another episode of the Future Billionaire Project. We're here with a very special guest today who's been in some crazy rooms, from the Trump White House to the teams at SpaceX and Tesla, and now he's founded Parent ProTech, a company aimed at helping families, parents, and throughout this hectic, crazy, fast-paced world we live in. So everyone, let's welcome Brock Murphy to the show. He's been in every room possible.
No, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Brock. Honestly, it's great to see you here. It's great to be in Houston. And for the viewers, I don't know if we touched on it in our last video, but we're obviously in a new room. Normally, we're back home in McAllen, and we're going to take this thing portable. We're going to get into the rooms as many people that we can. And so we're very excited for this one. Like I said, like Alex said, welcome, Brock. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Yeah, love being here. And this is the first time that I've seen you, I think, outside of the Valley.
Yeah.
So it's good to...
Yeah, or College Station.
Yeah, or College Station. Yeah.
So for those who don't know you, can you introduce yourself? Who's Brock Murphy?
Yeah, so for me, I was actually born in Plano, Texas. We moved to Missouri when I was about 4 years old, and grew up on a ranch up in Missouri. So primarily raised American quarter horses. And then in 2012, I had this weird, crazy idea to start raising longhorn cattle in Missouri.
How old were you at the time?
13-ish.
Oh, wow.
And so had saved up some money and bought my first cow. And everyone in the family, for sure, they like laughed at me, didn't think much of it. But just started buying and selling cattle. Sold out when I went to Texas A&M for college, but was able to take an initial investment of $1,500 and turn it into over $100,000 to help pay for college and all that. So
Through the cattle?
through the cattle.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So learned a ton through that, made a lot of good mentors and business partners through that. And then at A&M, and I guess throughout high school too, I interned on presidential campaign. And so that was kind of the first real taste of the political realm. And then luckily won. And so interned on Capitol Hill between my freshman and sophomore year of college, and then did the White House internship between sophomore and junior, and graduated a year early from A&M, and then went straight back to the Trump admin, for that final year in the Office of Management and Budget.
Dang.
And so definitely a wild ride through that. And kind of portfolio there was, I was in the Office of Federal Financial Management. So a little bit like Doge before Doge was a thing, and without the top cover for sure. And then Office of Federal Procurement Policy. So again, procurement, and then kind of the efficiency or the lack thereof of, using taxpayer dollars and that investment. And then kind of created a niche looking at adversarial nations and their impact on our education system, which was really, really fascinating. And then made my way to the Valley and was at SpaceX for a little bit. And got to be in the room for a lot of crazy times. Got to be with like Jack Dorsey about a year before the Twitter acquisition happened. Amazing experience. And then launched Parent ProTech in 2021. So scaling that now.
That's awesome, bro. And for the people that don't know, what's Parent ProTech? What's your goal with it?
Yeah, so kept being approached by parents and educators with questions that they had about technology, and figure that if they're reaching out to me, then, and continuing to reach out, different people from all different areas, realized that there was a major issue that needed to be addressed. And so started doing more research on the data around online safety and its impact on kids today, and started seeing more of, kids who spend 3 or more hours per day on social media face double the risk of depression and anxiety, or the average age of pornography exposure for kids today is closer to 8 years old, or over 500,000 online active predators online each and every day. And so all of these kind of showed the impact that tech is having and the big need that there was So Parent ProTech began really to empower families, empower educators in safely navigating tech. And so we've got this whole family resource platform, kind of parental controls, all that for the top tech that their kids are on. And then we've got a curriculum that's being used in the classroom now too, that educators are able to use, kind of teaching kids about online safety and digital citizenship, and be careful what you post online, but be careful what you see online, and like fact checking.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And so, but now we're about to cross. We're about to be in over 5,000 schools, so we're at about 4,800 now.
Good for you, man. That we just saw that you got into the Georgia Board of Education.
Yeah, so in every Georgia public school, working on a couple other states.
That's huge. That's big, right?
Yeah.
Is Texas in there yet, or?
Hey, we've got quite a few districts in Texas, but we haven't done a statewide yet. So that's definitely, definitely a focus.
All right.
For sure.
And I mean, you started the entrepreneurial deal at 13 years old. Was anybody else in your family an entrepreneur? Like, where did the mindset come from?
I think definitely my grandpa on my mom's side, he grew up in the Great Depression, had nothing, and then was able to build a couple different businesses, kind of addressing different needs that he saw in farming communities in Iowa. And spent a lot of time with him growing up. And so I definitely think that, it's most definitely in our blood, the entrepreneurial side of things. And so just like y'all and a lot of the other guests that you've had on the show. And so, and then my brother is also an entrepreneur more in like the crypto space. So completely different than the online safety realm.
He's probably killing it right now, huh?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. But yeah, definitely had that entrepreneurial bug from the grandpa.
That's awesome, dude. And so I'm curious because I'm going to be leaving to DC soon. For as much as I can say, I'm interested in how your first day in DC was working at the White House, and how that was for you, the nervousness. Walk me through it.
Yeah, I mean, the first time you walk into the Capitol or you walk into the White House through the gates or through the main entrance, like, it's the most surreal feeling you'll ever have. Like, even have goosebumps just now talking about it, thinking about it. And so with that, though, there's so much responsibility with it. And so definitely some nerves pop up because of that. But I think the most important part is kind of having that mindset of like, what am I going to do today that's going to impact and improve the lives of hundreds, millions of Americans each and every day. And so there's something pretty special with that opportunity. Also, I mean, at OMB, that was the first time, like in college, we deal with like, you're in accounting or whatever, economics, and you're dealing with like, thousands of dollars. And then at OMB, you're dealing with billions, or looking at spreadsheets that are billions of dollars. And so definitely kind of a wild difference. But I think the big thing that is true across, like, whether it be DC or in business or anything, but like, you've got the greatest opportunity in the world to network with some of the brightest minds from all across the country, and then also having visitors from all across the world. And so there's a pretty awesome opportunity there to really expand that network across.
Well, you landed these big internships your freshman, sophomore year of college, right? So, like, what advice would you give to a college kid looking to have these same opportunities, and where do they start?
Yeah, I think especially even like at SpaceX, I hired a lot of interns from A&M, which is a wild story. But I think the importance of having an internship is so important, especially when you're looking at a huge stack of resumes. You're really looking for experience, not as much, at least for me at SpaceX, I wasn't looking for resumes with 4.0s. I wanted to know if people had the experience and the work ethic to actually get the job done. And so I think definitely, if people are listening and have questions on whether they should do an internship or not, I think overwhelmingly yes. I think the big thing I'd say is, especially that I've seen with like the SpaceX and White House internship side of things, is there's this, sometimes people have a mindset of like, oh, like I'm not going to get it, so I'm not even going to apply. And I think it's good to go ahead and apply for the big internships, even if you don't think you might not get it, because maybe next year you'll apply again and get it. So I applied for the White House internship in between your freshman and sophomore and didn't get it. But then I went to Capitol Hill and got that experience, expanded my network on the Hill, and then came back the next year and got the White House internship. And so I think definitely like be aggressive
Just
and
not
go
giving
for it.
up.
Yeah, totally.
And while you're young, I feel like if kid watching now, wondering whether or not what they should spend their summers on, I think working for somebody that is in the position that you want to be in and being their best student, like work for free, even offer to work for free.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, yeah, most kids are playing video games for free all summer, so might as well.
Yeah,
You go learn something that's gonna help you long term.
totally. Well, and when I did the Capitol internship and then the White House internship, they were unpaid.
Yeah.
And so nowadays those internships you get paid, even though it's
a little
tiny, but it still helps cover rent. But yeah, it's definitely an investment for your future.
yeah, like it's going to open up, I believe that it's going to open up so many more doors afterwards. And so
Yeah.
to care about a few $1,000s or a comfortable salary right now that I'm 22, like you gotta just be comfortable living off of a ramen noodles and like whatever you got, protein shakes, and just rough it out, because I feel like now is going to set the impact of our future, like jobs, etc. Like whatever it is, building that list of experiences, what's going to get us into the next step, right?
Yeah, and I think even I want to say maybe a mentor going into my first internship in DC, they said like find out what your supervisor hates to do and do it, because you want to be that asset that can get the job done and then relieve some stress or anxiety on the people that you're working for too. So,
oh yeah, I'm curious. I mean, this is kind of a silly question, but what's it like working for Elon Musk? What's the dude like?
yeah. So, I mean, again, I feel super blessed with the like opportunities that I've had. And also without being in the Valley, I wouldn't have been able to meet you and the fam. So an added blessing. Elon is incredibly smart. He is intense. He knows what he wants. And if you don't produce, then it's probably time to find a new brush up on your resume and maybe look for a new spot. I think he had this kind of like algorithm or like equation that he made us always think about. And step 1 was always question dumb requirements. And step 2 is like delete parts or processes. And so kind of question dumb requirements, he always would say like, you might find out that something that we've been doing for 10 years was just something that an intern or that some employee decided we should do way back then that actually has no added value in the work that we're doing today. And so then it just slows down the entire process, adds things that you don't even need to do. And there were 5 steps in that equation, but he always said like 1 and 2, question dumb requirements and delete parts and processes. Barely will you ever get through that to get to 3, 4, 5. And my mind is having a blank on 3, 4, 5. So maybe part 2, we could go over those. Yeah.
Well, working at a $1 trillion operation, how important are these systems and processes?
Well, I mean, in every entity, whether it be Parent ProTech or SpaceX, I mean, definitely see the value. And I think Elon puts so much value on time, which is a good reminder to all of us. Like our most valuable asset is the time that we have working, and then time on the opposite end, time that we spend with family, friends, so on. And with Elon, there's this like only the paranoid survive, like this mantra of like go quick, because the end goal with Elon is for that colony on Mars. And so who knows if a nuclear war breaks out tomorrow or anything could happen, that he wants to have this lifeline on Mars that's thriving. And so I think in any company, though, kind of really valuing the time of your team and then making sure that priorities are set and everybody has an idea of like their role in achieving that long-term goal, I think definitely makes sense across all of it.
No, bro, that's honestly inspiring. Like seeing your growth and how much you've come from, and like I never knew you were in cattle in the first place at 13, 14 years old. It's such a shift, right? From like that to now, suit and tie in the White House. I bet that was some change.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm sure right now I'm not giving off the rancher vibes, but I've got the boots in the closet
There you
in
go.
Houston.
Like, what advice would you give to a small town kid that also has that same entrepreneurial mindset and wants to make it in the big city one day? Like, what would you tell them?
No, I think for me, or like I think about it all the time, is the value of the network and how people, regardless of what age they are, oftentimes want to share their story and then help those that are interested and invested in your story to like help them reach whatever goals that they have set. And so I think whether it be in the value or in the valley with like Alonzo Cantu, like reaching out and trying to set up that meeting with him to talk about whatever goals or dreams that you have, or whether it's a senator's office or a representative's office or in DC or in Austin or wherever. I think part of it is just taking that initiative to meet people and really like listen and learn about their story, their journey. And when you actually listen and pause and think, that I think we all have such a hard time of doing today when we're just like rushing from one thing to the next. When we really pause and invest in these people, especially when they're spending valuable time, I mean, they're going to help and want to see you succeed too. And so I think part of it is just learning from those that have gone before us, and then really just taking that initiative to truly listen.
Yeah. Brock, how old are you right now?
26.
26.
Oh, wow.
Dude, you're super young. And like you've lived a whole life already.
And
Like a whole, like, yeah, it's crazy. I'm interested in how you stay grounded in all of this. What do you do on your off time when you're not working? And
How do you handle the stress and all the pressure of all these different ventures?
no, and I appreciate that. I think really, really blessed to have a great church here in Houston that I found right when I moved here. And it's also a weird thing because the pastor, I got coffee with him right when I moved here, and his mentor through a really tough time of his life was the pastor of the small Missouri church that I grew up in. Totally small world thing. And so I feel very lucky to have found that church right away with a great community to spend a ton of time with. I think with anyone though, I struggle to like unplug. And so I've started doing some stuff like in the Middle East as well. And so the time zones are pretty tough to actually unplug, because, when you're going to bed late at night, they're going to be waking up. And so then you're just constantly on calls or responding to texts or whatever about that. But I think part of it is kind of shifting mindset. And I'm trying to do it right now, but when I'm not like working, I feel guilty and think that I'm being lazy by not working. But how that is so wrong of how we all need rest and like true rest. And so I think part of it is being really working on that, but then really like leaning into community of friends and family to actually kind of have that time to recharge and regroup and stay grounded.
And what's the name of your church?
It's called the Story Church. So come on Sunday.
I'd love to.
Yeah. Deal.
well, finally, we'll end with this. If you guys want to keep going, that's fine. But what advice would you give your 18-year-old self? You could go back and talk to him now.
18-year-old self. I think the more that I dive into things, I think I put so much more value on kind of two areas that I've stressed a couple times today, but like the value of that network, but within that network having like mentors that you can go to navigate any issues, whether it be personal, professional, deciding whether to take on more investment or not to take more investment. But I think mentors are probably the most important thing that I can see, because they've already probably navigated a lot of the issues that are coming or soon to come or may not come, but at least you're prepared when they do pop up. And then I think, especially from like the entrepreneurial side, I think the power of like really inspiring and motivating your team that you build is so important, and like really helping and dive into like helping them reach their full potential. Because if they're really motivated and inspired, the work product that they push out is going to be better than anything that you can imagine. And so I think it's mentorship and then building on that inspiration too.
All right. Well, Brock Murphy, everybody, we appreciate you coming in from the White House to Elon Musk, to Faith and everything. We thank you for coming on and sharing all this. It means a lot. It's going to go a long way.
Thank you. No.
Future tech mogul Brock Murphy, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.